Hello, how are we? This is a breakdown of my track Vox Sanctum, which came out on the Echoes of Silence EP. I've been meaning to do this for weeks, I just haven't got around to it. So here we are. I did do a breakdown on my Instagram, which was a really quick one, and yeah, this is the full breakdown that I said I was going to do. Finally, it's here. So we'll start off with the kick and everything that's included in that. And within that, we've got an EQ just working on the low end, reverb again on the low end, a drum bus at medium just to give it extra oomph, and then we've got an auto filter here. Then we've got a rumble, which I've just recorded the kick into audio and reversed it. I've then made my own audio effect track so I can just drag this straight into my rumbles, and that's got a compressor which is sidechaining to the kick. We've then got an EQ here. I'm taking out all the high end and just focusing on the low kind of rumbly parts. Got a reverb on the low end again and a drum bus just to give it extra oomph as well. So that sounds like this. And then with them together, so you can really hear that in the club, like it rumbles like hell. It's amazing. Okay, here we've then got the two side basses. So one's a little bit more high and then one's a little bit more bassy and low. Separately. So on the first one we have so this is with a serum preset, and we've then just working on the low end and then a little bit of the high end here. So it's just kind of accentuating the parts that I want to accentuate, basically. And then we've got a saturator just to beef it up a little bit as well. On this one, I think this is the side bass that I made myself. Yep, so this is my own made side bass on Serum 2. Taking out some of the low end on this one just because that's what this one's for. But then also kind of focused on the low to mids and the mids here for this one. Again, put a medium curve saturator and a little bit of reverb on the low end for that. I've then got a stab here, and this is just for part of the build. I've got this coming up with an auto filter during the build, so it sounds like this. And by the time it gets to the top, so you can kind of hear that in the build. So it's very, very, very minor. So I've just added in some extra hat layers here. And I've not attached anything to this because I didn't really want too much reverb on these hats, and because it's very dry already, it wasn't really clashing with the kick, so I didn't have to sidechain it in my opinion. So that's that one. And then we've got a crash, and this is just for different impacts throughout the track. So I've added a bit of reverb on this, and I've not cut anything, so it's not cutting the low or the highs in here, it's just doing its thing. So that sounds like this. Simple. I've then got a ride here. This is just a sample that I've put into a drum rack, and I've just sidechained that to the kick as well. I've then got a clap here. I've not added any reverb on this. I quite liked how dry it was. It made it a little bit more punchy. This is the acid here. I'll come back to this at the end, and we'll just go to everything else. So the pads, the strings, the stabs and the pluck. Okay, so I've got the first pad here. Everything synthy here is made with Serum 2. So the first one sounds like this. So it's basically just a gated pad, and that is sidechained to the kick, so it kind of gives it more movement throughout the build. This one here is the strings, again Serum 2, and again just sidechained to the kick. So same notes, obviously I've just put it as chords for the strings. And then we've got another pad here. We've got no sidechain on it because it's just kind of in the high frequencies, so it's not going to get muddy with the kick. And that is the pads and strings. Then we've got, let me just move this down here so they're together. So we've then got the plucks during the build. Individually they sound like this. And I've got, as you can hear, a little bit of delay on it, and that's just 95 milliseconds. This one here, again, we've got a delay on this one. And all of these, I should also mention, have automation on them. All the same, but it just gives a nice gradual build. And the last pluck, again delayed. here. So that is the plucks done. We've then got the stabs here. So this is for the first build and drop. And individually they sound like this. So as you can see, the auto filter's doing its thing here. And this one is the same melody, but this is the main part of the drop. And yeah, there's just an auto filter on this. A lot of the stuff within Serum, I actually kind of use the FX within Serum. And then if I want some extra processing, I'll then go in and add some extra Ableton effects. So that's all these ones done. We've then got a Reese and a sub bass here. So again, these are the same notes, they're just giving off different sounds. So this is for the build part here. So the Reese bass sounds like this. So these are automated here just by the volume. I thought it was getting a little bit too, a little bit too muddy when it was coming to the sort of final part of the build. So I just brought the volume down on this a little bit. Along with the auto filter coming, not the auto filter, the cutoff coming down. And then for the sub, it's the exact same. So again, we are working with the cutoff, bringing it down, and also the volume as well. And for this, you can hear the sidechain doing its thing there. It's sidechain to the kick, so you can hear it kind of doing its womp womp. Alrighty, so that's them done. And then it's on to sort of FX. So we have got the main choir part here that sounds like this. Most well-known part of the track. Got an auto filter, again that's just for automation. We've got a sidechain to the kick. We've got an auto pan on it, although I don't think I'm using that. Yeah, I must have changed my mind. And then we've got, I'll just take that out. We've got a reverb, and that's just got no cut on it, it's just reverbing the whole part. And then we've got an EQ, so I'll show you without the EQ. So I basically just took out the low end. I want to focus on the kind of mids to highs and make it very airy. And it just kind of makes it have a little bit more, I don't know, sparkle. And then we've got some other choir vocals here, sound like this. And then here we've got an auto pan. So audio effects we've got on this choir vocal is, as you heard, the automation of the auto filter. Reverb, again, just reverbing the whole part. Then we've got the auto pan, which is automating this part here. And again, a sidechain to the kick. Next part is another vocal. So again, this has got auto pan on it the whole time. This is just a part for the very end, as you can see. Reverb again on all of it, and a little bit of delay, so I'll let you hear this. And that's that part, and it sounds like this within the track. Now the rest of the parts are drum loops. So we've got some drum loops here. So on their own they sound like this. So they're just beefing it up with some drums and hats, etc. Then we have got, basically just got swooshes, sweeps, risers, the kind of rest of it. You'll be able to hear them throughout the track. As you can see, I've got a lot in there, but it really makes a difference to just keeping the ear interested and letting the listener know if there's going to be a change in the track, sort of thing. So yeah, we'll go to the most important part now, which is the acid. So the acid was created on the Behringer TT3. The melody looks like this. Then from there, I've recorded it into audio. And this allows me to record the automation of the cutoff. Because this is a piece of hardware, you can't do the automation through Ableton itself, so you need to record it in live, which means if you make mistakes, you need to go back and do it again. And if you've watched my videos before, you've probably heard me say that a million times. But yeah, so this is what it looks like recorded in as audio. And these are the effects that I've got for the acid line. So I've just made up an acid effect track, so anytime that I make acid, I can simply just drag this in. It's got everything that I need in it already, and then I can just manipulate it how I want to manipulate it. Okie doke. So for effects for the acid line, we've got an auto filter. This will just be automating the build and bringing it in sort of gradually. We've then got an EQ, so I'm taking out parts of the lows because the acid line can be really overwhelming, so I'm taking out just the end of the lows and working on the lows to mids, bringing down part of the mids and bringing up the highs. We've then got a saturator, and I've just moved this to 4.6 decibels. We've got an overdrive on here, and I've not touched any of this, so this is just doing its thing naturally when I've dragged it in. We've got a compressor, and this is just making sure that if it goes, because I always find this one hard to explain. When you're moving the cutoff and it does the kind of high frequency, high pitched sound, the kind of squelchy stuff, it obviously gets louder naturally. So using the glue compressor means that if it reaches a certain threshold, it's not going to go over that. It's going to compress it, and it's going to make the whole acid line the same volume, if that makes sense. We've then got utility. This is just making the acid line mono. Acid is mono, but when it's recorded in, it comes in as stereo, and that's why there's two lines here. So you just want to make sure it's coming in as mono, and that's why I've got bass mono clicked here. We've got a little bit of chorus, and this is just creating a little bit of kind of phasing almost, and then acid reverb. So I'm just having a little bit of high cut in here. And that's basically it. That is the whole breakdown of Vox Sanctum. That's everything that's included. This is what the arrangement looks like, and I hope you have enjoyed watching this. But let's play from the second build, and you'll be able to sort of hear everything that's included now that I've explained it, and I hope you enjoy. And that's it. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.